watching AYV Television.
Good evening, I am Olanka Olukolia and this is AYV's Primetime News. Here are tonight's headlines.
Judiciary of Sierra Leone presents over 42 billion loans budget for 2022.
In terms of the courts, the judges are more than the courts. How do you manage that court?
Ministry of Technical and Higher Education bids farewell to 16 students awarded scholarship to India.
You are selected among thousands of people. I just wanted to know that this is not a party institution here.
And Conservation Society Sierra Leone calls for enhanced support to safeguard the country's biodiversity.
Sierra Leone, we are facing many complex interrelated challenges in environmental management.
Now for the full news.
The Judiciary of Sierra Leone has presented a budget of over 42 billion leones for the year 2022. The budget, among other things, aimed at strengthening the judiciary system and improve access to justice for all. Mohamed Bakar Kamara reports.
Over 42 billion leones presented by the Judiciary of Sierra Leone will help strengthen justice in the country, the rule of law, and access to justice within the country. The budget hearing by the Ministry of Finance gives opportunity to ministries and agencies to present their success stories and challenges over the years. The Judiciary of Sierra Leone believe that if this budget is being granted by the Ministry of Finance, access to justice in the country will improve drastically. Desmond Babatunde Edwards is the Chief Justice of Sierra Leone.
In terms of the courts, the judges are more than the courts. How do you manage that court? For instance, now we have a court operations officer. So that court operations officer will say, well, this High Court number 1, I will allow 3 judges to use that High Court number 1 for today. You will work from 9 to 10 or 9 to 2. Another will work from 2 to 5. That's the way it is done. That's what the court operations officer. And if anything goes wrong, which will affect the proceedings. For instance, if the lockup is not clean, we have what we call holding cells. If it's not clean or it's in a messy position, or if the AC is not functioning, the judges, they wear gowns, so to go there, they will not want to go there. So all these things should be in place. They should be in order. If they are not in order, judges will come. Judges, we don't have vehicles. A good many of the judges, in fact all of the High Court judges don't have vehicles. A good quantity of the Appeal Court judges too don't have vehicles. They rely on the vehicles, their own vehicles, or something else, or the old vehicles that they have. If there is a breakdown, if there is something, that judge will not want to come. A judge will not go into the streets and be walking.
During the presentation by Desmond Babatunde Edwards, the Chief Justice of Sierra Leone, it was revealed that nearly 10 billion leones will be allocated for local courts administration and recruitment of training of local court staff.
We want something like 2.5 billion. We are going to organize a lot of training, continuing development. And it is judicial and legal. It's not only the judiciary. It may involve legal staff from the Ministry of Justice, lawyers, etc. The local courts administration have previously highlighted it. The local courts administration, we have operational and support services. We have general administration, which is 3.6 billion leones. We have delivering justice to the local courts, which is the education of local court matters to justice. In terms of policy, you would say that vision encapsulates the policy to make justice accessible, to make justice fair, and to make justice expeditious. That is the speed at which you do that. We have started.
Meanwhile, the Pharmacy Board of Sierra Leone has presented a budget of 8.9 billion leones to the Ministry of Finance to eradicate fake medicine in the country. For AYV News, I am Mohamed Bakar Kamara. Reporting in Freetown.
The Ministry of Technical and Higher Education, MTHE, has bidden farewell to 16 students awarded scholarships to study at different universities in India. The Technical and Higher Education Minister, Professor Alpha Tijanwuri, says the selection process of the applicants was based on merit, not political, regional or tribal lines. Salfu Chagno Kamara filed in this report.
The bilateral relationship between India and Sierra Leone has existed for over 5 decades now. It is based on common vision for development. India has been awarding scholarships to Sierra Leoneans every year to pursue diploma to PhD courses. Whilst admonishing this year's awardees, the Minister of Technical and Higher Education made them realize that they are critical to the growth of Sierra Leone. Among the 16 students awarded the grants, 5 applied through the Higher Education Ministry and 11 applied directly to the universities in India.
Make us recognize that our institutions are good. For you to be selected, because you are selected among thousands of people. I just wanted to know that this is not a party institution here. We are looking for the best brains of this country. That is why the student section just showed you the platform for you to apply on your own. Those that came through us, fine. We will still filter it and send it to the same institutions to make a choice. All right? And I want the rest of the world to know that the Ministry of Technical and Higher Education now is to support people of Sierra Leone in general.
The government of India has recently established Online Education Center at FBC, furnished with computers and accessible internet facilities. However, the India High Commissioner to Sierra Leone advised the students to talk to their supervisors and senior lecturers if challenges are faced at school or elsewhere during their stay in the country.
Stay in the limits of the law. So that is very important. And I'm very happy that 16 students from Sierra Leone are going to India. 4 are for masters, others bachelor's courses and technical courses, IT. So it's a kind of mix, and I'm sure you come back and serve your nation.
One among the students made commitments to preserve the country's good image and expressed gratitude to the Ministry of Technical and Higher Education and the Government of India on behalf of his equals. Yata Esther Kalon is going for Masters in Ecology and Environmental Studies, whilst Harun Bangura is going for Masters in Water Resources Engineering. They stated the reasons for choosing their courses of study.
As a public health officer, I've noticed that the health system in Sierra Leone is not that strong. You know, in terms of environmental pollution, environmental degradation, air pollution and everything, natural disasters, we don't have the technical know-how. Like even for disease prevention and control, you see the Ebola that came to Sierra Leone, there was no better knowledge in preventing the disease. That's why we saw that it was a catastrophe in Sierra Leone. So I want to do that course to come and empower the system, especially the health system in Sierra Leone.
A lot of people rely on groundwater as one of the sources to get water, because the surface water can't supply the whole of the country. So, and groundwater are not always pure. There are a lot of contaminants ranging from iron, manganese, arsenic, and the so you want to make the water as pure as possible to supply the people. So I think that is one of the key issues for which I'm very interested in solving.
Salifu Kamara, AYV News in Freetown.
Susan Sierra Leone Limited Laboratory Services has today officially opened a modern laboratory service to the people of Sierra Leone. This laboratory, according to them, will provide credible and fast results for its customers. Our health reporter Swaliho Vandi has more on the story.
Susan Sierra Leone Limited Laboratory Services is a multi-purpose laboratory service that caters for microbiology tests, biochemical tests, hematology tests, and varied analysis. It supplies installs, and maintenance laboratory and medical equipment. This modern laboratory has today, 1st October 2021, been officially opened to the public. Giving a background of Seasons Sierra Leone Limited, Chairman of the Board of Directors had this to say.
Seasons Sierra Leone is into importation, wholesale, distribution of pharmaceutical drugs, as well as diagnostic kits and laboratory equipment. So over the years, we still want to expand, and this has given birth to the laboratory that we are here to commission today.
Chairperson of the event, who also doubles as a member of the Board of Directors, Mahoney, JJ, and Sumana, spoke on what they hope to see in the laboratory sector.
We want to see a well-resourced, state-of-the-art, one-stop medical diagnosis center in various parts of Sierra Leone. But for this kind of thing to happen, we as entrepreneurs decided to think out of the box, because we are looking for solutions to teething problems. So when we contacted the various manufacturers around the globe, they gave us the various specifications they have, the various models they have, the time it takes to produce them, the training of the personnel, the shipments, and then put all the other things together. We came to the realization that, in fact, this kind of thing cannot happen overnight. But then the company was desirous and wanted to start at all costs. So what we did was, the company sent 2 persons to China, to the company that we finally agreed with to produce the equipment for us. And they went there, spent 1 month, trained them on how to use the equipment, how to service the equipment, which is very, very important, because they have to get regular treatment here and here, and of course how to do the installation.
In his keynote address, Dr. Mohamed Jallo clearly stated that Seasons Sierra Leone Limited Laboratory Services is coming with a difference in the laboratory sector.
They are definitely coming with a difference, as I told you, which is not only quality, but real-time notification, to doctors and healthcare givers, which will translate definitely to rapid diagnosis. So you make a quick diagnosis, reduce waiting times at doctors' consultations.
It is hoped that this modern laboratory will help improve Sierra Leone's health sector. Swaliho Vandi, AYV News, Freetown.
Ahead of its 117th year anniversary celebrations, the alumni and administration of the Albert Academy Secondary School have prioritized infrastructural development and academic excellence with the theme, "The Same Old or the New Now." This was revealed during a press briefing that was geared towards providing updates on lineup activities of the 117th year anniversary celebrations. Naomi Kamara has more on the story.
As Albert Academy, which was founded in 1904, turns 117 years, the school is striving towards a more conducive learning environment. And according to the planning and committee chairperson, Zainab Bangura Kaba, such can only be achieved with the help of academicians and well-meaning individuals all over the world to assist with the upgrading of the school.
What are we going to do? We're going to pave the school ground. We're not only paving the school ground, we're having a state-of-the-art sports center by the science lab, and then we're also beautifying and giving a beautiful landscape on the upper aspect close to the main hall of the school. How are we going to raise that money? All of us academicians can do it and beyond. So this is a collaborative effort with the US chapter, the Washington DC chapter, the UK chapter, the Georgia chapter, and of course the national chapter. We've started raising funds. We've been knocking doors of academicians all over Sierra Leone. We go to different ministries, different offices, and it's amazing that whenever we go there, the hospitality we receive is so warm.
The principal of the Albert Academy Senior Secondary School, Tunisa Vandi, says that he was concerned about the fact that Albert Academy is approaching its 117 years but hadn't had much of development, so they had to put heads together to come up with an action plan.
When Albert Academy is not producing many A's, as people used to say, I used to tell them, yes, we're not producing them because I want my boys to get the result they deserve. So that if they get their B's, their C's, anywhere they go, they can defend their result. But getting A's, you go to university, you cannot defend it, it's a disgrace.
The head boy of the senior secondary level of Albert Academy, Samuel Maxwell Boya, who represents other students, had this to say.
It is a good approach by the alumni to work in concert with the school administration. And of course, it is a bravo to our principal, who has worked tremendously to downsize the number of the school. That is a good approach to work in progress with the Albert Academy. And as well, we all know that our celebration is at hand. And the Albert Academy, we all know we do big things.
Academicians and staffs are looking towards a great 117 years anniversary. Naomi Kamara, AYV News, Freetown.
Conservation Society of Sierra Leone's program manager, Edward Sise, has called for functional systems to help protect Sierra Leone's biodiversity. He made this plea during the 35th anniversary of the society, while also highlighting strides of the society to protecting the country's biodiversity. Ronald Jomorovia has more on the story.
Conservation Society Sierra Leone was pioneered by Dr. Sema Banya 35 years ago in 1986, with a vision of promoting the wise use and sustainable management of the country's natural resources. The organization has been engaged in advocacy and sensitization on the importance of preserving our environment, including plant and animal reserves.
Over the years, the organization has developed tremendously. We have an advocacy department, we have a research department, and communications department in environmental education. And all of these are geared towards raising awareness, mitigating the effects of climate change, and getting people to adapt so that the environment in Sierra Leone will be in a better state.
Sierra Leone has been classed as a country prone to natural disasters owing to human activities that are mainly destroying the environment. According to program manager of the society, Sierra Leone's fragmented system has been a challenge to protecting the environment.
In Sierra Leone, we are facing many complex interrelated challenges in environmental management. And it is clear that many of our fundamental systems are fragmented and not working as they should today. Unless we understand the bigger picture in which these challenges sit, we will only end up mitigating problems or providing superficial, shallow, and insincere solutions. The environmental challenges we face in biodiversity management are so urgent and tricky that we need a solution to manage or to match their scale and complexity. This is where a change in our thinking, a change in our vision comes in.
With the vision of proper management of the country's natural resources to benefit people's livelihood and quality life, the organization has established its new website, which is www.cs-sl.org, to update the public on their activities. Ronald Jumorovia, AYV News, Freetown.
This is Primetime News on AYV Television and Radio. Stay tuned for more stories after the break.
Been looking for a place to get quality education but don't know how or where? Canadian College of Modern Technology, situated at 1 Silicon Hills, Mile 91, opposite former Camp Charlie, is the right place for you. Canadian College of Modern Technology, an affiliate of Jalai University, is a fully accredited college with a Tertiary Education Commission, TEC, and a National Commission for Technical, Vocational, Other Academic Awards, NCTVA. We provide world-class tertiary education in computer science, business administration, mass communication, business information technology, Microsoft Server Administration, networking, database administration, building and construction, and other professional courses. Apart from its conducive environment, which makes it suitable for learning, Canadian College of Modern Technology is proud proud of its experienced local and international staffs. Come and experience a transformational learning environment, fully equipped with CCTV cameras, a world-class electronic library with the latest iMac computers for collaborative learning and research, and access to high-speed internet service throughout the campus. And guess what? Canadian College of Modern Technology is the first college in Sierra Leone to operate the first educational purpose-only television and radio station for its mass communication students. Come and be part of this historic experience. We have reserved a space for you. You want to know more? CCMC provides 24 hours electricity from a solar harvest power supply system with a backup generator. This highly secure campus also have a canteen, student hostels with clean pipe-borne water. Canadian College offers many more amenities for our students to help make learning a good experience. For more information, contact us on these numbers: 079-630-407 or 099-140-208. If you want to succeed, Canadian College will exceed your expectations. Canadian College of Modern Technology, a place where career begins.
Welcome back. I am Malanka Olukolia, and this is AYV's Primetime News. Let's take more stories. NACOVAC, together with the Ministry of Health and Sanitation, have launched the Western Area Rural Villages Intensive Vaccination Campaign in Waterloo. This move is to bring on board community leaders in the fight to end COVID-19. Lucian Kulanda filed in this report.
All village heads in the Western Area Rural District were present to grace this launching ceremony. And according to the communications person for NACOVAC, Solomon Jamiru, for people to trust in this vaccine, the ambassadors must be trusted, which is why they believe in the involvement of community leaders.
The vaccine hesitancy that we used to see, the myths and misconceptions that we used to see, we have seen a significant reduction in all of those. Thanks, we attribute this to the fact that we continue to intensify communication around this, community mobilization around this, and making sure that the public influencers, the community leaders are at the front and at the center of this. So again, we reiterate that the vaccines that we have, whether it's Sinopharm or AstraZeneca or Johnson & Johnson or Pfizer, they are safe, they are effective, and we believe that it will continue to break the chain between case surge, hospitalization and death. And we call on every eligible member of our population, 18 years and above, to come and take the corona vaccine.
Giving his keynote address, the chairman of the 121 Village Head Committee in Ward C, Alhaji James Lowe, said they give their 100% cooperation to NACOVAC to ensure the end of COVID-19 because their respect has already been given to them by NACOVAC.
We know the good again, or the tell them say, they expect them not only to be demanded, believe you me, by grace of God. We'll launch this night today, and I assure you say, by God's power, where the poor areas they are, for them to go do this magnet, we will speak to out of people there. Because we don't believe, we talk to people there, they respect me, the gods are very electric. So I believe say, if we don't do that, we don't do the right thing.
The leaders were pleased to cooperate with NACOVAC till the end of COVID-19.
Mr. Minister, as we say, because of the good record where we set at the past Ebola, make una think but we back again.
NACOVAC is expecting all these village heads to be ambassadors to spread the good news about this vaccine and how important it is to end COVID in Sierra Leone. Lucian Kulanda, AYV News, Waterloo.
The current statistics of maternal death rates in Sierra Leone is staggering. In an effort to scale down this figure, the Office of the Vice President collaborates with Seed Global Health, which is a US-based health organization, to roll out professional training for health workers across the country. The training has commenced at the midwifery school in McKinney. Abasise filed in this report.
Maternal mortality rate in Sierra Leone is among the highest in the world, with 1,360 mothers dying in every 100,000 live births. This according to Seed Global Health, an international NGO. With this staggering report, Office of the Vice President of Sierra Leone collaborates with this health organization to chart ways of dwindling this figure drastically. As an effort to respond to this national call, Said Global Health launches a multi-year health workforce training program at the School of Midwifery in McKinney. Annie Stan is managing director of this US-based health organization.
So what we believe at SEED is that people at the heart of the healthcare system. And so we focus on working with students, working with midwives. We're here working with midwives to improve skills, to improve knowledge, and to ultimately change clinical practice. So our approach is to really try to understand, and that's what we're doing here, to work with, there's many stakeholders here. There's the hospitals, there's the community health centers, and there's the School of Midwifery, there's the Ministry of Health. And we really want to understand from their perspective what are some of the real great challenges to reducing the maternal mortality and infant mortality. It was at the request of the Vice President's office that to help proceed to come here and to help reduce maternal mortality and infant mortality. And so we are eager to collaborate with everybody here to try to really make an impact on that through our education and training.
Respective cadre in the health sector, including physicians, nurses and midwives, stand to benefit from this professional training. But will this effort yield expected dividend in the midst of challenges highlighted by health workers?
Challenges we have is accommodation. According to the basic package, even after their trainings, according to the basic package of essential healthcare services, the required number of staff that will be in health facilities, maybe CHD, CHD, and CHD. Accommodation serves as the main barrier for us not to staff the health facilities with the required number of staff.
Even water supply in some of the facilities is a challenge.
Abasise, AYV News, McKinney.
Tax and revenue collection play a key role in the development of a country. Trying to strengthen this in Sierra Leone, volunteers involved in organization network in collaboration with the Ministry of Planning and Economic Development have held a dialogue session with local council executives in the north to chart ways on how to generate tax and revenue for the country. Abubakar Kamara filed on this report.
The engagement focused on enhancing local revenue mobilization and popularizing the integrated national financing framework. Joseph Sama is the Assistant Director of Ministry of Planning and Economic Development.
So this time around we are kind of focusing on the local councils and community stakeholders within the northern region. That's why we are here. We are bringing them together as stakeholders within their districts to engage them on how they could increase revenue mobilization within their councils and how they could partner with the private sector or come up with innovative ideas on how to increase revenue mobilization for supporting development programs within the district. So that is why we are here, because we think that the councils, the community people know a lot. They know development programs and challenges within their community. So engaging them to hear from them and providing a platform for private sector, CSO, and the councils to engage and interact on how they could enhance development in their communities.
The Chief Administrator of Kwenadugu District Council, Augustine Amara, pointed out some of the challenges councils face in revenue mobilization.
One among them was that we are getting a bottleneck with the Children's Council and that of the local councils with regard revenue mobilization. There are also too much of political interference in the revenue generation in our respective locality. So again, if you look at there is also a conflict between the Local Government Act and that of the Chief Governor Act.
So when we bring that together and we harmonize them together, then we will understand better how we are to forge ahead with the revenue collection.
Among the strategic barriers to women's revenue contribution highlighted include limited access to sustainable finance for business startup and investments, lack of transparency and accountability in the use of tax revenue, and lack of progressive tax structure in determining the amount of taxes businesses pay at district and chiefdom levels. AYV Regional News, I am Abubakar Kamara from Makeni.
Well, now we join our studios in London for news in that part of the world.
Thank you. Glad you could join us. This is AYV International News from our studio in London with me, Alpha Jala. The leader of the official opposition Labour Party in the United Kingdom, Sir Keir Starmer, has promised to win back UK voters lost to Prime Minister Boris Johnson. Speaking at the party's annual conference, the Labour leader attacked the Conservative ruling party's levelling up slogan, saying that after a decade of the Tory government in power, more than 500,000 more children and pensioners live in poverty. Against the backdrop of COVID-19, Labour hopes focusing on important issues such as the pay of key workers will win them the next election. But critics question whether Labour has what it takes to unite a deeply divided party or challenge Prime Minister Johnson's ability to connect with voters. North Korea says it has tested hypersonic missiles. Experts say the country has been developing its arsenal. The supreme leader of North Korea, Kim Jong-un, in recent political speeches has vowed to bolster his nuclear deterrent in the face of U.S. pressure. AYV's Mariam Jabi has more.
North Korea has boasted that it has successfully tested its hypersonic missile and it could carry a nuclear warhead. The official Korean Central News Agency said the missile was an important addition to the country's strategic weaponry, implying that the system is being developed to deliver nuclear weapons. Kim Jong-un continues to expand his military capabilities while pressuring the United States government and the authorities in South Korea over long-stalled negotiations over its nuclear weapons.
The Senate in Brazil has heard accusations that a Brazilian hospital chain concealed COVID-19 deaths. According to testimony, at least 9 people died during the trials at the Prevent Senior Hospital chain. It was alleged that unproven drugs were used on elderly COVID-19 patients without their knowledge. AYV's Elizabeth Kazaburi has more.
A lawyer for whistleblowing doctors has told senators investigating Brazil's handling of the coronavirus pandemic that unproven drugs were tested on elderly COVID-19 patients without their knowledge in an effort to validate Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro's preferred miracle cure. It has been reported that very vulnerable elderly patients were told they were undergoing a good treatment, but they did not know they were being used as guinea pigs. According to reports, at least 9 people died of COVID-19 during the trials at the Prevent Senior Hospital chain. But the hospital has rejected the accusations as unfounded and said it had rigorously reported all deaths. In a speech at the United Nations, President Bolsonaro praised early treatment of COVID-19 via off-label use of unspecified drugs, claiming that science would someday vindicate their use against the coronavirus.
Key workers in the United Kingdom are struggling to travel to work amid fuel crisis. Panic buying at petrol stations has led to some key workers struggling to get the fuel they need. The surge in demand for fuel came after fears lorry driver shortages would affect supplies of petrol and diesel. Long queues have been reported, and according to industry experts, some petrol brands are seeing as many as 90% of their sites running dry. Prime Minister Boris Johnson has urged motorists to stop panic buying fuel by insisting supplies were improving. Commentators have argued that essential staff must be able to get to their jobs so they can continue to provide the services so many rely upon. Doctors and unions representing teachers and carers have called for key workers to get priority at the pumps. This is it for now. For AYV International News with me, Alpha Jallo. Thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you so much to Alpha Jallo and the rest of the team there in London. Let's continue with the news and now in sports. AfriCell Sierra Leone and the Sierra Leone Football Association have signed a 4-year memorandum of understanding to support the national football team, Leone Stars. The Chief Corporate Affairs Manager of AfriCell Sierra Leone says this will ensure that the team is well represented ahead of the biggest football event scheduled for January next year, which is the Africa Cup of Nations in Cameroon. A sports reporter, Ransford McLean, has more on the story.
Ahead of next year's Africa Cup of Nations tournament in Cameroon, AfriCell Sierra Leone and the Sierra Leone Football Association have signed a memorandum of understanding to serve as lead sponsors to Leone Stars for the tournament. President of the Sierra Leone Football Association, Thomas Daddy Bremer, appreciated AfriCell Sierra Leone for the partnership and calls for more support for the team so that Sierra Leone will be well represented in Yaoundé, Cameroon.
We are here. This might look like a MOU, a memorandum of understanding. But what I look at is a relationship between the SLFA and AfriCell. AfriCell have shown to us at least that they are in Sierra Leone to help Sierra Leone and Sierra Leoneans. What do I mean by that? You can help a country, but the help at a given time might not reflect on the people. What they have just done is helping to sell the name of Sierra Leone, and at the same time, helping us, some of us, in football.
Chief Corporate Affairs Manager of AfriCell Sierra Leone, Joe Abbas Bangura, gave details on the package between them and the Sierra Leone Football Association. He added that there will be a short code provided for subscribers to enable them to win some prizes for them to be able to attend the tournament.
You've already highlighted there the sponsorship package that AfriCell has put forward is in various components. The FA President has already announced a cash component, so there will be a direct cash component for their fund, and he's already hinted about the Premier League, which I'm sure will be subject of some other event, and you know, because that deserves a lot more visibility to be shown on that. But there will be cash transfers, direct cash transfer to the FA. And there will be indirect support that would include, but not limited to, the printing of promotional materials, production and broadcasting of media materials and content, event planning and delivery. Everybody knows that we're talking about event planning in Sierra Leone. AfriCell ranks high there at the top. Production and sale and distribution of the merchandise.
Ransford McLean, AYV Sports Freetown.
Sierra Leone's national team head coach, John Kista, has announced the names of 19 foreign-based players ahead of the friendly matches lined up for the national team. These friendlies will be played in Casablanca, Morocco. As sports reporter Michael John Fofana filed in this report.
The head coach of the Sierra Leone national male team, John Kista, has announced 19 names of foreign-based players ahead of the 3 friendlies lined up for the national team. According to the press release by the Sierra Leone Football Association, Sierra Leone will face South Sudan, the Gambia and Morocco on the 6th, 9th and 12th of October 2021. All these friendly matches will be played in Casablanca, Morocco. The list of the 19 foreign-based players are Umaru Bangura, Kai Ansu Kamara, Usman Kake, David Cisse, Daniel Francis, Ali Cisse, Kevin Wright, John Kamara, Kwame Kui, Issa Kalon, Yaya Kalon, Al-Hussein Kuruma, Al-Hassan Kuruma, Augustine Williams, Augustus Cabo, Sulaiman B. Kaikai, Al-Haji Kamara, Jonathan S. Mori, and Stephen Korka. In other news, prior to the list of foreign-based players called up, One of Sierra Leone's striker, Kai Ansu Kamara, posted on his Facebook page that he is honored to be called for his first ever international friendly for Sierra Leone in his 12 years career. Before that, why is Christian Coker not getting a call up? However, different comments and backlash was seen against Kai Kamara. But what was the reply from Kai Kamara?
Freedom of speech is the most powerful thing because you can talk any way you want to talk. And question. I think say one person back mentioned inside it. This is a question now you ask, but why? Now question you ask. So all the people there where they make comments, it's completely fine. I encourage you to make comments. All the people there will feel say that they attack me, it's completely fine. I encourage you to do that. I'll say this. This is the mental health problem or mental health concern. And I hope say young footballers or young people are in this group that's looking to do in this life right now, when they look for do something better and bigger than what anyone but we don't do inside we career. Because time get for calm where these things can get for happen. This is my first time actually where something really don't hit me, it hurts me. It go inside my head. I feel like this is my first time ever. Inside my own country, I say, inside my own country, Sierra Leone. None of them suspension, then none of them waiting said, and they not ever waiting said because I know what I did do one for. But this is my first time because I put sarcasm and a question together and not attack anybody. All this, here comes the education part back. I don't come out mental health because it hurts me head. I'm not able to sleep. And when I'm not able to sleep, no means say it was bad. I want to do bad to myself, which will never happen. I'm not able to sleep because in my head, I'm thinking, Ebo, what do you talk? To me, I not try to attack anybody and waiting self. I always look out for my brothers. And this is not a right time for raise awareness for one part my brother we still they continue for play part of a group of brothers them where things be don't happen for where they be don't suspend them. I want awaken everybody up again. Most of the way they are maybe not even know than a Christian Coker. So awaken that and I'm happy I did.
This also saw Buya Touré, one of Sierra Leone's international, also posted on his Facebook page that he was called by the Sierra Leone Football Association to be part of the game, but he declined as his doctor advised not to be part of any competitive game.
Well, that's all for Primetime News tonight. For more stories, visit our website on www.ayvnews.com. If you have any comments on the news, send us an email to info@ayvnews.com. I'm Malaika Olukolia. Thanks for watching and listening.